Okay, now in this video, it says find the greater value. And the greater value, you have y in both equations. You got to find x or w. Now you're like, how am I going to find the greater value? And the positive means you can put any positive number you want for it. Now y, you have y in both equations. Pick a number for y. Always just pick 10, okay? So what I'm going to do is instead of y equals 0.25x, I'm going to write 10 equals 0.25x. And then if we're going to put 10 there, we got to put 10 here because it's the same letter. And then 10 equals 3w. Just put the same letter in. I usually like to use 10. Now dot your other variable, circle it in both equations, and you go straight to your dividing. By 0. That cancels, and divide 10 by 0.5. So 10 divided by 0.25 is 40. So 40 equals x, or x equals 40. So x is 40. Now I divide then by 3, and I divide 10 by 3. 3.3, just write one digit after the decimal, 3.3. Now, what's bigger? If you have $40 or $3.30, what's more? Well, the 40 would be more, so then X is the higher. X is the answer. Okay, now here, W or X, okay? Same thing, because you have Y in both of them. It's either the W or the X that you're finding what's more, okay? So again, replace those Y's with 10s. 10 equals 1.23W. 10 equals 1.01x, okay? Then dot and circle, dot and circle. Here you divide by 1.23 and divide your 10 by 1.23. And that's 8.1, so 8.1 equals W. Then over here we divide by the 1.01 and divide the 10 by the 1.01. Okay, that'd be 9.9. Now 9.9 is bigger, so that equals x. So again, x holds the higher value. Okay. Okay, my another one, you want to find x or m. Okay. Because you have y in both equations. Having the same letter then will allow you to find what's bigger because you can randomly pick a number to put in for y in each equation. So let's go with 10. So 10 equals 4x. And in the second one, 10 equals 8m. So just take the y's out, put 10s. Then dot and circle. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. 2.5. Again, the 10, you're wondering where does that come from? I just made it up. I'm able to pick any number as long as it's in both equations, okay? And that allows me to find what's higher, x or m. And here I will divide by 8, okay? Just put 1.2, okay? That's all you need to know. Now again, x has the higher value, so x again. The answer's not always x, maybe it is, but you got to test it out to see. So again, you'll go 10 equals 0.7q, and then 10 equals 1.3m. Here you're finding q or m, and here you're finding z or m. Okay, pause it and do those two. Okay, now in these problems here, you're taking it's about gas costs, okay? A car averages 27 miles per gallon. That means you can put a 1 above after the per gallon, put a 1 above the gallon. That means you can go 27 miles on 1 gallon of gas. Gas costs $4.04 per gallon. How much would gas cost for a 2,727 mile trip? That's a long trip. So we're finding the cost, and the only cost I have is 4.04. So that means per gallon means you need to times that by how many gallons that we're going to use. But you can't times it by 1, okay? That's not going to work. And the reason why it's not is because that was on a different trip, okay? So I'm going to make a proportion where I can cross multiply and divide. So I put 27 miles and then 1 gallon. That's what per gallon means. Now put M and G, so miles and gallons appear in the same order, and you need to put 22,720 in for miles. And then cross multiply and divide. So I take 1 times 2727 equals, and then divide by 27, 101, okay? So that's 101 gallons you need. So now you know how many gallons. You put your 101 over here and multiply. $4.04 times 101. $408.04 I will have to pay for gas on this trip, because this is a long trip. Okay, next. A car averages 36 miles per gallon. That means 1 gallon. If gas costs $2.19 per gallon, what's the cost of a 300-mile trip? So again, my cost is $2.19, but I got to figure out how many gallons I'm going to use, okay? So I use my proportion, okay? I know 36 miles can drive on 1 gallon. Then miles, gallon. And my trip's 300 miles, so then I can cross multiply and divide. So I take 1 times 300 and then divide that by 36. Okay, don't put the decimal, just put 8, okay? By the way, you go 8. If the number after the decimal is lower than 5, you stick with 8. If it's higher than 5, you go to 9, okay? So 8. So we are using 8 gallons. So I take $2.19 times 8. So that's $17.52. Okay, on the next one, a car averages 27 miles per 1 gallon on 1 gallon of gas. Gas costs $2.09 per gallon. What's the cost of a 250-mile trip? So $2.09 is the gallon, the cost, okay? But per gallon means I got to figure out how many gallons, so I can take that times 209. Okay. So we know we can drive 27 miles on 1 gallon. Okay, but I need my trip is 250 miles. Okay, so X gallons. So I cross multiply and divide 1 times 250. And then divide that by 27. So that's 9. Now after the decimals, a 2. So that's not higher than 5. So we stick with 9. Okay. Now if instead of 9.2, if that would have been 9.7, I would write 10 down. Okay. But 2.09 times 9 is $18.81. Okay, that's the cost of my trip. Do the 2, pause the video, do the 2 on the back. Okay, now in our next thing, this is a little bit tougher here. Okay. There are 3 numbers. The second number is 3 more than the first, and the third number is twice the second. The sum of the numbers is 33. What's the first number? So I want you to write here, you're going to split this into 2 parts. Because the first part, I know that they add up. The sum is 33. That means they equal 33 when added together. Okay, now there's my first, my second, and my third. I don't know any of these right now. Okay, so the first number we're going to call X, always. The second number is 3 more than the first. So what I do is I write my X down here. And more means plus, so we put a plus 3 behind the X. Okay. Now read the next sentence. The third number is twice the second. Now you see twice. Well, that means a multiplication by 2. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply. If you have multiplication and you got a plus right there, and that's the second number, so we need to multiply both the x and the 3 by 2, both of them, okay? So x times 2 is 2x, but you also got to remember to take the 3 times 2, and that's 6, okay? Now scribble out the times 2. You have done what you needed to. Now I have things written down for all 3 numbers, okay? So again, a more than operation, you just drop that down and plus 3 behind it. But with a times operation, you need to multiply each one by 2. This by 2 and this by 2. Okay, now what I do here to fill out my equation is I put 1's in front of the x's that need it. That has a 2. And then I add the x's. I have a 1x plus 1x plus 2x. You're going to add those. Well, 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 plus 2 is 4, so that would be 4x. And then you add the numbers that don't have x. 3 plus 6 would be 9, okay? And then you dot and do your thing. So you subtract 9 from each side, okay? Hey, what's up? Okay. Okay, so 4 times x, and then 33 minus 9 is 24. And then we divide by 4. Then 24 divided by 4 is 6. So I found my first number. My first number is 6. Okay. Okay, next one, 3 numbers. Okay. The second number is 2 more than the first. So I don't know the first. I'll write the second as x plus 2. The third number is 3 times the second. The sum of the numbers is 28. What's the first number? Okay. So again, we know that it equals 28 because that's your sum. So there's the first, the second, and the third. Okay, so my first number I call just x to start with. Then the second number is 2 more than the first, so 2 more than x. I write x plus 2. Okay, you don't put it as 2x. That's multiplication. More than means addition. Third number is 3 times the second. So the second I need to multiply by 3. So I times 3 and times 3. So that's going to give me 3x, and then 2 times 3 is 6. Now get rid of that times 3 so your thing's not cluttered. Now put 1's in front. Circle all the x's, and we add those together. 1x plus 1x plus 3x, that's 5x. And then I add the non-x numbers. 2 plus 6 is 8. And then I dot my x, circle. I minus 8 from each side. That would be 20. And then I divide by 5. And 20 divided by 5 is 4. So x is equal to 4. So that's all I have to do is find that first number. That's x. Okay. All right, the last one. There are 3 numbers. The second number is 4 more than the first. The third number is twice the second number. What's the first number? The sum is 48. So they add up to 48. Now we need to write an expression. So first, second, and third. Okay, the first number is just x. The second number is 4 more than x, so you put x with the plus 4 behind it. Now the third number is twice the second. Twice is multiplication by 2, but that's with the second. So what you do is you times 2 and times 2. So 2 times x, you just put 2 in front of x, and then you can actually take 4 times 2, and that's 8. Okay, so put 1's and add those up. 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 4x, and then 4 plus 8 is 12. So I dot my x and circle it, and I subtract 12. 48 minus 12 is 36, so 4 times x equals 36. Then I divide by 4, and 36 divided by 4 would give you 9. Okay. Pause the video and do the back 2. Okay, now I'm actually going to go through this all with you. Just make sure you get stuff down, okay? Write an equation of a line with a slope of 4 and the point negative 5, 2. That means in this equation, if x is negative 5, y is 2. It always goes x, y when you see that little parentheses. Now, we did this last year, but I want to go through this with you. Here's how you set up the equation of a line. You put equals, and you're going to put y by itself. You're going to put x over here, but you're going to have some operations with your x. You're going to have this in front and this behind it, okay? This is known as your M blank. This is known as your B blank, okay? And you need to find M, you need to find B. Now, what does M mean? M means the slope, okay? Now, it tells me the slope. The slope is 4, okay? So I can just put a 4 in front of the x, 4 times x. Now your B blank. The B is like the whatever number is being added to the 4 times x. And here's how you figure that out. There's an equation you write. Y equals m dot x times x plus b. Now what I do is I put a 1 in front of the b and circle it. I don't replace b. You put a 1 in front because you'll want that there later. Now I cross out the y, the m, and the x. And for the y, I put 2. For the m, I put 4 times, and for the x, I put the negative 5, okay? So I need to find out, I have 2 equals. Now I need to right now multiply 4 times negative 5, okay? That's negative 20. Cross that out, and then plus 1b. Now dot your 1b, circle it, and we got this minus 20, so we add 20. And 2 plus 20 is 22, so 22 equals 1 dot b. Now divide by 1, but it would still be 22. So there you have it. That's your answer right there. Y equals 4x plus 22. Write an equation of a line with a slope of negative 1/2 that passes through the point 12, 6. That means x is that, y is that. So I'm going to go over here, y equals, and then I'm going to put x. X is going to have a multiplying number in front, and there's going to be a number added behind it. And this is the m blank, this is the b. Okay, now my m is my slope. Remember, that's what m means. You're like, well, why don't they call it s? Well, they just don't. So negative 1/2 is the slope. Okay, so I put negative 1/2 right there. And then for the b, I need to use that y equals m times x plus b. Put the dot there. I don't have enough room to do it underneath, so I'm going out here. Okay, now b gets a 1 in front of it, okay, and I just kind of circle that. So my y is 6, okay. Now my m is at negative 1/2 times, and then the x is 12, okay. Now you got 6 equals, now you need to take your calculator and actually multiply negative 1/2 times 12. So you go negative 1, ABC 2, and then times 12, is negative 6. Plus 1b, so dot your 1b, and you have a minus 6. So you plus 6, and that would be 12. So 12 is equal to 1 times b, and then you just divide by 1, but 12 divided by 1 is 12. So there it is. Okay, my next problem. This one's a little bit different, harder. Write an equation of a line that passes through the points negative 6, 3, x, y. Remember, label any little parentheses with the comma, x, y. Okay, these are the 2 points. So again, same setup. X will have a multiplying number in front. It needs an adding number behind. That's M, that's B. This time they don't tell me the slope though. Well, the formula that finds the slope when I don't know it, when they don't tell me, is y minus y over x minus x. Okay? So your y's are 3 and 11. So we have 3 minus 11. Okay? And I'm going to put that in parentheses. Okay? And then my x's, I have negative 6 minus negative 4. So negative 6 minus negative 4. Now, there's a way to calculate this right now. You can go parentheses 3 minus 11, close the parentheses, divided by parentheses negative 6 minus negative 4. Okay? And that will calculate our slope. Our slope is 4. Okay? Okay, B is the same way. Y equals M times X plus B. Okay, now here, use one or the other. We'll go with that one. So Y is going to be 11, and M is the 4 I just got, times X is the negative 4. So I take 4 times negative, and then I put a 1 in front of the B and circle it. We don't put a number in for B. My job is to find what number B is. I have to find the number myself. So 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. Plus 1B. Okay? So we add 16. Add 16. 11 plus 16 is 27. And then we divide by 1. And 27 divided by 1 is 27. So it's y equals 4 times x plus 27 is the equation of the line. Okay. Write an equation of a line with a slope of negative 1/3 and the point 92. Okay, my m is a slope, which I know, negative 1/3. So that's my m. Now the b, y equals m times x plus b. I put a 1 in front of the b so I don't replace it. And xy, so 2 is the y. M is negative 1/3. Just put that there. Times your x is 9, okay? So I have 2, and we protect the b. So I take negative 1 ABC3 times 9. I got negative 3. So that's done. And now I add the 1b behind it. So dot and circle, but you have a minus 3, so we would switch it to plus 3. And that would be 5. Okay, now you can divide. Okay, 5 divided by 1 is 5, so y equals negative 1/3 x plus 5. Okay, write an equation of a line containing the points negative 3, 15, negative 6, 9. Okay, so y equals, okay, x has a multiplier in front of it and then a number added every time on a line. So this time they don't tell me my m, so I go to the y minus y, x minus x. Okay. So what are your y's? Looks like 15 and 9. Okay. What are the two x's? Negative 3, negative 6. So negative 3 minus negative 6. Okay. Now if I parenthesize these, it will find the top for me. It'll find the bottom for me and automatically divide those. So I go parentheses 15 minus 9, close it. divided by a parentheses -3 minus -6. Okay, I got 2. Okay, so 2 is my m. Okay, it's my slope. So by equals m times x plus b. Because what you're essentially finding is how much y changes by and how much x changes by, and then dividing it. Okay. Okay, so I'll use this as my y. So 9 is the y. M is the 2 that I just figured out. And the x is the -6. So I have 9. And I need to do the times operation. 2 times -6 is -12. Then I add 1b. Okay. Dot circle. And then plus 12. Plus 12. 21 equals 1 times b, and then divide by 1. 21 divided by 1 is 21. Okay. Okay, and there's the equation. That's how you write an equation of y.